build back leaner? Okay, that's what I want to talk about. I'm going to give you one idea today, and it's about virtual prototyping. You know, how do we model processes, you know, to eliminate some of the inefficiencies in terms of trying processes out? So I want to hear from you. Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, how many of you had to redesign a process under duress last year? Yeah, under duress. Okay, so all of you that you had to do that, how many of you were not thrilled with the results the first time out? Give me that thumbs down. Yeah, I see Marissa's like, yeah, it did not work. Okay, that we redesigned something, and yeah, but thank you, Daniel. It was a failure. Okay, but we're lean people, so we kept trying, you know, until we got it right. That idea of test and learn, test and learn. So if you could put in your chat window, tell me really quick, if you had a failure on that first one, why was that? You know, what caused you to fail? Lack of communication, not enough testing, not enough time to test, right? Because we're doing things really quickly, changing customer requirements. Again, I see another lack of communication. Okay, so we redesign processes because we have to shorten the life cycle. We have to raise quality expectations. There's a design competitive advantage, or there's a global pandemic and we are stressed with redesigning a process really quickly. There's a lot of horror stories from last year, more than just toilet paper, you know, of bad process. And more than long lines, and the fact that real people are involved in these, you know, looking for tests and, you know, some of the safety issues. And I would tell you during normal times, redesign is difficult, it takes time. But during a pandemic, when we can't go to Gemba, you know, redesigning a process is even harder. All of us are in the process improvement community, so we typically think about measuring process improvement by the number of improvement projects we do. More projects is better, but we never stop to ask ourselves, that's rework. Why didn't we design the process right the first time? PPC has got to be less than PPF. Okay, that's my only formula for you guys today. PPC, the rate of process problem creation, the horses. You don't want to be behind the horses in the parade. And if the rate of process problem creation exceeds the process problem fixing, you're going to drown. Okay, so we want to get upstream from the process creation. So our traditional view, get better at problem solving. Our new challenge, avoid problems by better design. Some of this might have happened during the pandemic. Where does that design conversation? Maybe it started in a Zoom meeting. Hey, why don't we do this? And this becomes the straw man for the redesign without a lot of thinking, without a lot of testing. And with no thought to variation in the process. So this is a picture from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Same process every day with no thought about what the variation in the process is. So here's a company that actually tried to fix a problem without modeling it. CSX Railroad, this comes straight from the Wall Street Journal in 2017. Hey, we have an efficiency initiative. We're going to reduce 2,300 jobs and reconfigure 12 railroad yards. The result? entire tangled up rail traffic through the Midwest. So look at that time. Look at how much worse they made it. They never modeled, predicted, or tried to remediate anything. They didn't taste their own cooking. Okay, modeling is about sampling your cooking as you're going through the process. Lean people, sometimes we're Luddites. I think we're afraid of it. It's complicated. There's going to be more math involved. There's a lot of tools. Turn it over to the industrial engineer. Does that sound familiar?
قعد كده ذوقها يعني لحد ما نخلص يعني.
I love you industrial engineers, but so let's do something different. Let's try something new. I'm going to call it agile process design. Takes the best from lean thinking, agile software development, design for Six Sigma. And one element of that is what I'm going to call virtual prototyping. Virtually modeling. So how can we build back leaner? Build a virtual model. Now, a physical model, here's a good example, is from Akron Children's Hospital. They built a complete replica of their pharmacy before they built it out. This is from 3P. It's a typical lean method for modeling. But they went to a warehouse, you could see ergonomics, flow, pinch points, line of sight. In a global pandemic, you can't do that. You can't physically put everybody in there. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money. But what you can do is create a virtual model. And that virtual model, without being wasteful, it allows you to embrace trial and error as a method to encourage creativity. 3P, the 3P process wants you to try 7 different things. If you try something virtually, you can try infinite number of things in terms of thinking about what could my future state look like? What happens if? So it's very much PDCA. We have a concept, we define it, we verify it, and we optimize it. How does that relate to that future state map? So if you're a good mapper, which I assume all of you are, you build out that current state, you see what the problems are, you build a future state for maybe 30, 60, 90 days, and then another future state to improve your process. That can work. And if your process is simple, keep it simple. Use the future state map. But if your process has a lot of variation in it, you can build a discrete event simulation and model that process and do all that stress testing. Well, what happens when some of our shift has COVID and they're not going to come in and they're going to be gone for 14 days? What happens if our supply runs out? What happens if we have downtime? So that's the amazing thing about animating a process map. So how do we build back lean? You can build a discrete event simulator. And you can ask these what if scenarios. What if we can explore opportunities? What if we could test our situation virtually to see if 3 people don't show up? What if we could look at different operating parameters? What if we stayed open all night? What if we stopped here in the process? What risk is there? And finally, how do I make my case? So there's modeling tools available. Some are difficult to learn, not all of them. And I would encourage you to, dabble in that. And the thing is, people feel like this is a simple waiting room, that you have to model the whole process. You don't model the whole process, you model where your pinch point is. So think about COVID testing. Is it registration? What's going on at registration? How many people can we get through here? What causes variation in that? You start asking those questions and it allows you to come back and be a better designer. Some processes that we've helped companies model during COVID. COVID testing, employee testing, that was really big at the beginning. I know that there's people here in healthcare just getting into a hospital and going through the testing process and having people, employees waiting an hour to get tested. And then, you know, employees want to go home and they can't go home because the employees can't get in. Let's model that process and figure out quickly, how many people do we need? Onboarding for airplanes during COVID. So lots of opportunities to improve process, you know, for people in healthcare. And I'm right at 11 minutes. So I'm gonna come down here to say, when you're thinking about building back, use a model to allow you to think, explore, create, test safely and quickly, establish your operating parameters, evaluate risk, and make your case. Because we know your system is perfectly designed to give you the results you're getting. So if you're not getting good results, that's because of the design of the system. So modeling is a way, and I know it's not a huge part of the lean community, you know, but it could be. It could be as a way to process model.